Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Trading Room. I'm Shane Vernier, and this is the U.S. Mid-Session Brief. Today, we're going to talk about US PPI, but I want to get right out to price action. Right here, we're watching the silver market, and we cannot believe the action. That's why we're going a little bit early, but I mean, this is why we cannot believe the action that we're seeing out of silver today. It's absolutely imperative that we understand this is a generational day in silver. You're seeing billions and billions and billions of dollars being transferred to wealth, and if you got caught short, this is why we really talked about not going short on the precious metals. If you got caught long, we talked about the volatility of potentially a short pullback. We talked about that in our weekly preview today, that came out earlier this week. But I'll tell you what, when I'm sitting here and I'm watching this volatility, I remember what it was like when I first started trading, and it was Arab Spring, and I was trading WTI crude oil, and it was a very, very serious time to be in the market, and the volatility, this really reminds me of that volatility. So if you're brand new out there and you've never seen anything like this isn't how the markets are, this isn't typically how they function, but the daily range that we've seen in silver is generational. It's epic. It's monumental. I haven't seen anything like this in a long, long time. And I'm trying to remember if I've ever seen anything like this. In silver especially is one of those that it just did not move for years and years and years. And now you've got just an epic range after epic range. Today, we'll look at the daily range. I'll give you some macro levels. Right here, we're looking at the 1 minute chart. I'm looking at 1 minute silver here on your MT5 platform. We're rocking that 9 EMA strategy, the 9 EMA crossover, where we've got that RSI deep into oversold territory. We've got a bit of a bounce here, and we're looking potentially to catch a bar close up above this 9 EMA. We've actually finished. I went back and I went through our coded EA here. This is going to be something that's released to the public probably next week, but it looks pretty good to me. It looks like the bugs are gone. It took me a long time to get the bugs out of this thing, but it looks to me like it's functioning pretty well. Sometimes these things bog down, especially during periods of high volatility. But right now what we're waiting on a bullish close up above that 9 EMA, and then we've got an opportunity potentially to send this thing long. From a pragmatic standpoint and as a trader, if you're going to try to buy in to this market crash, you do so on your terms and you do so with tight risk constraints. Now, I'm going to go ahead. You'll see one full lot on silver is way too much. We're going to go ahead and take that down to maybe 10% of a lot. Go ahead right up there on our one-click trader, 0.10. About a tenth of a lot is probably going to get you a pretty good market exposure. A lot is way too big to be trading, and I doubt that anybody on the stream has that kind of cash. But right here, it's very simple what we're looking at. Oversold territory. Now, we did a little bit of research. I did a little bit of research on, okay, what exactly, how many bars after the RSI being beneath 30 can we look to buy? And it sort of came up with a figure of 7. So I'm looking at about a 7-bar lag. As long as we go live in the next 7 bars after this thing is in oversold territory, then we've got an opportunity. So if we would have got a bar close right there, we have a trade. I think we still have a trade opportunity here relatively soon. We're going to execute it because I want to show you the functionality of this EA. It is working properly now, so it's got a few features that are pretty good. You'll notice that these carrots that we've got beneath price action there, those are your buy signals essentially. Not a signal. I can't use the word signal, but it's sort of the marks where your buy setup is. And then what you're going to be looking to do is buy right there on your bar close. Now, a couple of things that I always say, and I say it in the video that will be coming out relatively soon, is that this right up here, you're right on that line. You got to be very careful, especially if you're fading a trend. So I'm going to go ahead and give this another minute to sort of simmer. And then if we don't go live here in the next minute or so, then I'll just go ahead and we'll monitor this as the stream develops. But this is a trade that I want to execute. I can already tell you where my stop loss is going to be. We've just got about just a few more seconds here, I believe, and then we're going to go ahead and have a live trade. But we're going to want our stop loss right beneath this area. It's going to be a very, very tight trade, and we're going to execute this potentially with a market order. But in order for us to get long, we've got to get that bullish close up above the 9 EMA. That's our confirmation. So we've got the RSI has set the stage for this trade. We're supposedly going to get a signal when it's time to trade, and that is going to be when the bar closes above the 9 EMA. This is the basic 9 EMA strategy. It is very, very simple to trade. I've augmented it from our original video that got a couple 100,000 views over on the other How to Trade channel. I've augmented this to give traders their best chance of success with the 9 EMA. Now, ultimately, what's going to drive your success with a market like this, with a strategy like this, is going to be your trade management. And that's really where the artistry of being a trader comes in. That is where the game really does kick off. I mean, we could both be trading this strategy, but if we're doing it with different trade management, we're going to have an opportunity to have very, very different returns. Now, I don't have any real management rules for you. In my book, in my view, the single most important thing about this is, number one, being patient, and number two, aligning your stop loss, aligning your risk to reward at least a 1-to-1. That's the bottom line. Now, if you want to take, on a day like today, if you want to fade the trend and maybe take a 1-to-4 or a 1-to-5, just looking to get in on a decent trade, okay, right there's our signal. We're going to go ahead and hit the buy. Okay, you see our alert popped up. We're ready to go. And then what do we got right here? I'm going to go ahead and put my stop loss. I'm going to put it right beneath that spike low. That's where we're going to go ahead and design our stop, put it right down there. Now, you'll notice even at 1/10 of a lot, we are still taking a significant risk. This one's doable, though, for a retail account. Our aggregate loss won't be that much if, in fact, we take it. Remember, we are going against the trend. So we're rotating back down into this range. It's not looking real great right now. What do I want out of a profit target? Market structure on a 1-minute chart, not a bad idea. Let's go ahead and put that profit target up there, make this worth our time. Once again, this is high risk. Now, when we talk about trading, Shane, what do you think about trading? And I go, well, I know a couple of things about trading. Number one, you try to buck trends, you're going to get destroyed. Right now, silver is off 25% today. 25% today. Trying to be a hero and pick the bottom of this market is how people have been going broke all morning. I'm not kidding you. They've been destroying themselves financially. They've been destroying their trading accounts because they're trying to pick the bottom of this. There are no rules. All right, now I thought we had circuit breakers on commodity futures. I really did, and they have not thrown the breaker on silver yet. They're down 25%. This is a basic restructuring of an asset class, and we're seeing it happen, unfold in front of our eyes in a day. Look at that thing. It triggers us. It's coming back against us. The question we have to ask ourselves right now, where the hell are the bidders going to come from? Where are they going to come from? Who's going to bid this? Okay, we just played a one minute trade setup on a 9 EMA with a very tight stop. We're trying to scalp this thing. Where are the bidders going to come from? Are they going to come in today? Are they going to come in Monday? Are they going to come in at the end of the session? Or are they going to leave town and this thing plunges down to $50 or something? Always remember this. When markets crash, they crash hard. Think about how long it took silver to go from $40 to $117, and now we're printing 85. And folks, let's be honest, the next area up for debate is probably 75. Right now, we're duking it out right around 85. There are some bidders there. You can see the prima facie evidence is from the 1 minute chart. There is two-way action here. The question is are we going to get an opportunity for this thing to rotate higher? I'm not optimistic. We are fighting an incredibly stiff trend. However, we did get a trade set up, and I wanted to show you how the EA functions in real time. We're starting to get a little bit of bullish pressure there. The longer that this one sits without us seeing a significant green bar, I mean, just look at what we have here. Essentially, I mean, there just is not many green bars, and they're not significant. This one right here was a pretty good. Could have got a little move there, but look at what we have. We have buy signal after buy signal after buy signal. What does that mean? It means that we're trending south in a big, big way. Do you want to buy in a situation like this? If you were trading your real money, I would tell you probably not to. But if you're going to do it, you do it with a system or a strategy where you have a finite stop loss. We've got one right there beneath that swing low, and then we're just going to let this thing ride. Now, the thing has gone positive for us. It's gone in our favor. We've got back-to-back winning minutes. What should we be doing with our profit target? We're up about we took 1/10 of a lot. Right now we're up about $400 or $300 and something dollars, and it is moving fast. We're fighting the trend. We know that the longer that we hold on to this position, the more dangerous the riskier it is, the more dangerous situation that we are in. Now, I'm talking fast because we've got to think fast, especially when we're faced with this. What should we be doing with our profit target? Did I just make a reasonable trade? Yeah, it's not bad. 1-to-1 scalp against the trend. I think that trying to put your profit target up here somewhere is doable. It's doable. If you were ever going to win one of those trades, it probably would be in an environment like this where you're going to get a stiff rotation to the top side. But when we're talking about maybe scalping against a stiff trend, a safer play, a wiser play is probably to play a tight scalp just because you know there's a lot of volatility in the market and you have a real chance to win. So 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. These trade management ideas, this is a great way to start a Friday session because you have to be thinking in your mind all the time, especially when we release this stuff to the public, where you have the EA that's going to show you where the trade setups are. You're going to have the session overlays where you're going to know exactly when the volume should be in the market. I talk a lot in the video about the ranges of the price bars to dial in your time frame. What's a good time frame? In a market as crazy as this silver market today, absolutely a 1-minute chart is appropriate. There's that much volatility in there. It also helps you keep your risk small. But look at what's happening. Do we think that we can win an uphill battle against a trend this stiff? I think that it's a higher risk trade. However, there's plenty of slack in the market. You really only need bidders to step in for a few seconds, and we could get that easy. But right now, you can see that it's going against us, and things probably going to get stopped out. Is there anything wrong with that? No. You take your first loss. This right here is what it's all about. Remember that no matter what strategy you use, what system you use, it is not a predictor of what the market's going to do. It is always going to be reactionary. You're watching what the market does. You're trading it accordingly. We got a setup. Our criteria is met. Bam, we're in it. Okay, that's great. You have to stop yourself out, though. Take a look up here. You had a buy signal back up in here, right around 95. If you didn't stop yourself out or take a small profit there, you're getting absolutely destroyed. You had another one here. Produced a little bit and then went against you. You had another one here. Produced a little bit, went against you. Had this probably your better one. You got a pretty nice rotation. Might have got a 1-to-1 out of that. But if you did not stop yourself out beneath those swing lows, you're absolutely destroyed and your money's gone. Remember one important safety tip. If you like to trade, preserve your capital, because once your capital's gone, you don't get to trade anymore. This right here, we could bet heavily right now that it's going to be a loser unless the bidders come out and defend this area, this swing low area. We're gonna get swept out. That's textbook trying to fight a trend. Always remember that. This is good stuff, good trade management stuff. And no matter what happens with a strategy or what happens with a trade idea or what happens with analysis, you have to have the strength to stop yourself out when it's wrong. You have to. Right now, you got no business holding longs. Based on this trade idea, we had a pretty good rotation on the top side. Looked like we may get paid off, and now the sellers are back, and we're down 27% in silver. I've never seen anything like it. For a commodity to dive 27% in a day, they're going to write books about what's happened in the last 48 hours to this commodity. All right, pretty good start there, first 8 minutes or 10 minutes of the stream. So good to see everybody back in the room out there in YouTube land. Yes, sir, good to see you. Yes, sir. Gordon Williams, good morning. MJ, how are you? I'm in Bangladesh. I'm doing well, MJK, doing well. Feel good here in the United States. Going into the weekend, it was a long week. It was a big week, exciting week. Fed week, a lot of things going on. We had PPI earlier today. I'm going to talk about that here in a second. We're going to talk about the prospect of a strike on Iran from the United States. It looks pretty big. We wrote a piece yesterday on the Pentagon Pizza Index. We're going to look at that as well, have a little bit of fun on a Friday. Team Marine, happy Friday. Kanu, namaste. Good to see you, Kanu. Welcome. Yes, sir, gaming. Fantastic sell in gold during the Asia session. Man, I tell you what, that was, if you got short at the right time today, I'm really... I can't believe it. I'm watching the tote board right in front of my eyes, and it's doesn't. I mean, 10%. You're down 10% in gold. You're down 28% in silver. We've never seen anything like it. I've never seen a commodity drop 28% in a day. Never seen anything like it. And that's me. That's coming from me. I've been around a while, and holy cow, these days like these, you need to really understand the gravity of the situation. Gold right now plummeting 4,800 and falling. Silver down to 82. It's in a complete free fall. It's in an absolute free fall. It's plummeting big time. Down. This isn't news driven. This is institutional participation. This is what a market crash is. If you've never seen one, this is what it is. This will never. There are no rules. This can go on. They need to stop the market. I mean, honestly, you need to shut the markets down right now. They need to take a pause. You're down 28% right now. You're down 10% in gold, 28% in silver. What's everything else doing? Crypto getting banged. U.S. dollars getting starting to gain some puff right now. This is crazy. This is crazy stuff. All right, we'll execute one more counter trend trade here, but I just don't see any reason to do this. Don't buy into these markets. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. You don't want to buy them. All right, let me see. Fantastic sell-off, in the Asian session. Let me see. Hey, Shane, some people made some good money on the gold swings. What do you think about the Fed nominee? Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a second, Paka. I got that one up. Walsh, we're going to take a good look at him. That's for sure. Let me see. Thank God it's Friday, Jason. Yeah, a lot of people don't have any money left after this week. That's the truth. I mean, this is absolutely unbelievable. Tina Jean, good to see you. Tina, welcome. Let me see. Greg, is this a demo account? Yeah, this is a MT5 demo. I'm here in the United States, so I don't have access to the actual real money switch trading or the MT5 in general. There are some things in the works, though. There could be some real money futures trading where I trade my account for you guys next week. I'm looking forward to that. I got to get a thumbs up from the back office first. They don't necessarily like that, but just because it's always one of those things on YouTube. Everybody's trading their real money, or they're trading fake money and saying it's real. If I sit here and I tell you it's my real money, it's my real money. This is demo stuff. Greg. Let me see. Tina, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Happy Friday. Hurst Horns, happy Friday. Acting like crypto. This is unbelievable. This is absolutely unbelievable. I'm watching it with bated breath and interest. I mean, these are our macros. These are our macros for silver right now. It's not very often that we get to see a market crash and unfold right in front of our eyes. To me, the bottom, no question. 62% back into that golden zone, right around 75. That's probably where we're going. Right now we're printing 81.57. Interesting stuff. You're seeing the US dollar, Swiss francs up a little bit. Interesting. Up about 1%, 77.22. Gold, 47.87. What's going on with stocks? I haven't even been watching stocks. Stocks, not much. Dow's off 500. That's nothing in these days. S&P 500's off about 0.75%. NASDAQ down to 25,566. Might get a chance to buy 25 evens again if this keeps up. The VIX, the volatility index, is only up 4.25%. The dollar index is up almost 1%, up to 96.99, but still low, still trending lower. Gold, once again, 9.11, it's off 9.11%. Gold futures are, and then your spot gold's off 10%. Let's see, copper's down 6.35%. I mean, this is a staggering rally. U.S. dollar, Japanese yen up almost 1%. A lot of volatility here. Whatever markets you guys care to look at, we're probably going to be focused on metals here. Also, Bitcoin taking a bit of a hit, down 2.25%, but doing a lot better than these commodities are. That's for sure. Let me see over in the How to Trade community. Good to see everybody. Andrea Garwal. Good to see you, Andrea. Tuku, Ralph H. Bobby Bob. Hi, Coach. It was a good month. No donation month. Yeah, this is the last trading day of January. We're going to talk a little bit about the calendar and what that can mean to you as well. So remember, if you want to trade any of these ideas or check out a free demo over there at your MT5, check out Switch Markets. Also, if you want our newsletter, this one drops during that Tuesday session right before you get the big ding out of London. So you can check out our Switch On newsletter. I guarantee I'll be covering gold and silver again. We're going to talk about potential bottoms in these markets, at least the bottoms of this pullback. Last week we covered them as well. We'll be covering them again this week. This is probably the biggest story. U.S. oil is definitely another one we have to talk about. Off almost 2% on the day, but still trading right around 64.25. So big action there, big action in U.S. oil. Commodities across the board are absolutely going crazy. So if you're interested in maybe getting a jump on the trading week, go ahead and check it out. I also put a video out on YouTube with our hot picks. Our Switch On hot picks of the week, and I cover some markets there, break down the technicals, and where exactly we believe the markets are going. On Monday, I believe that the silver market had a great shot at getting to 125, and now we're printing 81. So, like I said, we'll give you some technicals, give you a market read, but anything can happen in these markets, absolutely anything. You're seeing prima facie evidence of that today. No question about it. January is flying by. January is over, Tina. Today's the last trading day of January. We will roll over to the February calendar, and that's typically when I like to get serious, is in February. So this is going to be a lot of fun. I'll let you know before we start our real money trading on the futures contracts, but I'll sort of show you a little bit about my performance and some of the trades I can take as soon as I get the green light. If I get the green light, we'll go ahead and do it. All right, everybody. Gosh, where to begin? It really begins and ends with that silver market off 30%, 29.59%. It just is off 30% now. 30% on the day. Shut the market down. It's a full-blown panic. It's a full-blown crash. Shut the market down. Throw the circuit breaker. You got to throw the circuit breaker. You can't let this happen to an asset. This right here, people talk about no regulation in your markets. When you see a 30% downtick on a Friday, maybe you ought to throw that circuit breaker and let the markets calm down here for a few minutes. This is unbelievable. Are they going to throw the breaker at the CME? Pardon. I'm looking for the circuit breaker. Look at it. I mean, silver surge, a sign of deeper shifts. They've got nothing. Price limits, ags, energy, metals. I'm always looking at these things. What exactly? Here's your price limits. What are your current price limits? Dynamic circuit breaker. This thing should have already been flipped multiple times. Let's go down to silver. Silver, what was it? Reference price to the top side. So it would have been 113. Oh, this is way past. This is way past. Unbelievable. How about copper futures, 59? Unbelievable. So they're not throwing the breakers. That's a real problem for the markets because this is getting worse and worse and worse. Unreal. There's your 1 minute chart. Let's get back over to our indicator here. Look at what happened if you don't cut that off. Your first loss is your best loss. 31%. 31%. Unbelievable. All right, we got a trade update here. Trump GDP speech, Bitcoin. I mean, there's not really much point looking. This one's sort of a duck. That's what I would say about this Bitcoin trade. I mean, I'm still optimistic you're going to get rotation back to the top side. There really isn't much of a reason to pull the plug on it just yet, but you definitely could. I like to approach these with a 1-to-1 risk versus reward. I was looking for a nice bounce back up to about 88, 3,000. We just didn't get it. We got a little bit of love in there, but since then, 4-hour chart, you can see it's just been pretty miserable. Absolutely pretty miserable. So be careful if you're trading really anything right now. This feels to me like this is an epic shift in our markets. Something really big is happening. I don't really know what it is. Other trade update, Euro USD on Fed Day. We put this one out the other day. Once again, same basic scenario. Our profit target was not hit on this initial strike right up there about 119.04. We were looking for something right up here around 119.19-ish to get a little bit of money out of it, but it only went our favor about 13 ticks. Personally, you could let it run if you wanted to. I would just go ahead and cut it off. I see what we see happening right now is just a major shift. It's a major shift in sentiment. And right now, 32% we're off in silver. Holy cow, 32%. It's a market rout. It's the biggest rout in decades. Unbelievable. In any case, something like this, you've got a nice big sell-off here in the Euro USD. Probably pull the plug on it. You don't want to go down the tubes today. Something really strange is going on, and we don't know what. All right, a weekend U.S. strike against Iran. U.S. dollar, Swiss franc in play. This was one of those trade ideas that I put out a little bit earlier today. 77.69-ish is what we're looking at. We had a nice entry point somewhere right around, 70, 77, 50 something, 59 or 60, something like that, about 10 ticks beneath that entry level. Could come into play. We're getting there very, very closely. We're getting there very, very quickly. We have an opportunity potentially to sell there. I would much rather be holding safe havens than the U.S. dollar, but on a pullback day like today, this one right here gives you a pretty good probability of cashing in if you could get it, maybe later today or early Monday. So I really like that one, and that's another trade idea that we have. But it hasn't really been the best week after about 4 good weeks. This week, not great. Not really great. The Fed speaks. That typically messes things up. Trump's been all over the news with his Fed pick. That's good. We're going to cover that in a second. And then also Iran. Iran's on everybody's mind. We all wonder what's going to happen there. And silver. Silver's definitely on somebody's mind. I mean, holy cow. Believe me, those silver brokers, the gold and silver brokers that are interested in moving as much product as they can, they're going to have a hell of a time explaining this one. 77, we're in a 77 free fall. Okay, let's step up and put our thinking caps on if we're going to trade this silver. Big time sell-off, weekly sell-off. We're right there. Let's buy 75s and see what we get. High, very, very risky, extremely risky. Let's go ahead and see what we've got. Counter trend play. If you're going to play a counter trend trade, you're going to want to do it from a key level. So let's go right there, 75, not 25. Let's go 75, 75. And see what happens. Let's go ahead and buy limit order, and there it would be. So the real question is this 75 the bottom here? You're going against a 33% intraday trend. I mean, this is textbook. It doesn't get any higher risk than this. It really doesn't. Let's see if we do get filled up here. We should be, I believe. Let's go ahead and buy it. You don't want to buy it. Yeah, you don't want to buy market right there. Let's wait for our limit right there, right around 75.5. We should be there any second and see if we get a nice bounce. Now, you're not going to be sticking in this trade very long. You want to see this thing get filled and then get a nice bounce to the top side right away. So the way that I would execute this in real time, you've got about 75 on the mark there. I would take this right down to, say, maybe a 30-second chart, and I would be watching this relatively closely. So you're pretty much already there. We should get filled up at any minute. Now, we haven't been filled yet. Should be in the queue somewhere. Not really a surprise not being filled. See our orders. Okay, you got the buy there. It's working. No fill yet. Welcome to trading. That right there would be extremely frustrating to me, especially if you're trading a large balances, large money. You can't. It's tough to survive if you're not getting filled. And then right here, what do we got? We got the market frozen at 76.27. All right, did they halt trading? This is historic. You need to be watching this if you're a trader. They halted it. Silver halt. Did they halt silver? They had to have halted it. Unbelievable. Okay, clearly you're looking at a trading halt. FXCM halted. Oanda halted. Interesting stuff. Wow. What you're seeing in real time is a trader trying to figure out what's going on. And typically when you get in that situation, and it will happen to you, you've got all these news outlets. You need to be looking on social media. You need to be looking for anything official on a silver halt. And okay, there it is. Bang. Okay, they just resumed trading. There's your resumption. Okay, so right there, you're looking at halting at 76 and then opening at 78. It's very important that you understand there are no rules. There are no rules in this stuff. Right now, they're trying to make a market. They're trying to make a market. So theoretically, if we would have been filled down here, we would have just made a stack of cash. But we weren't filled, were we? So now we've got to look at this again and say, okay, do I want to buy now that the market is resumed, that we've resumed trading? It's not a bad area to be buying down there, 74.56. Do you think this market rebounds or comes off further? More than likely it comes off further. But this right here was a product of a trading halt where they shut down all trading. They didn't do it for very long. And then when they reopened it, look at what you had there. You had a $2 bounce. That's absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. So let's go ahead and give this another go here. Let's go see if we can get a trade. Buy limit, something like this, right above our key level. So let's go right there at 74.75, maybe 74.81, and see if we can get an opportunity to get in the queue. Okay. 5 years of streams, thousands of live streams. I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen trade halted while we were live at this time of day. Never seen it. I haven't seen commodities markets halted or futures markets halted since COVID. This right here is sending shockwaves through the financial world, and everybody's wondering what the hell's going on. What's going on? This is crazy. This is fun. I mean, it's fun, but this is crazy right now. 12% in gold. Gold's off to about 47.25. Silver still plunging. It's going to go right down to our entry point. We are going to be in and we are going to be out. We're not waiting around with this one. This has to happen and has to happen fast. Dollar index is up about 1%. Copper continues to fall now off 7.5%. What about crypto? What's going on with crypto? Not much is going on with crypto. Bitcoin down a little bit. Shiba down a little bit. Dogecoin down a little bit. Ether down a little bit. How about WTI crude? WTI crude off about 1.5%. You see energies holding their ground. That sort of suggests that maybe the Iran issue over the weekend is going to be a big one. Stocks starting to gain downward momentum now, down about 500 on the Dow. But look at what's happening in the S&P 500, starting to come off just a little bit. Okay, we did just get a trade set up right there. That could be a potential bid. So let's go ahead and take our buy. Very difficult here. 1 minute chart. You can see they halted trading. That's where the trading halt was. Where do you want to put your stop loss? You can put it right in here. You can put it right in that gap or right down in there. Something like that. Do we want to get this long side scalp? It's unprecedented for me. I mean, realistically, you just came off a market halt. They're trying to restore order to this market. They're trying to draw bidders into silver somehow, some way. And the way that they tried to do that was to elect to halt the market and try to get the panic to stop. You guys are witnessing a panic in real time unfold in front of you. This is a panic. 30% in a day for an asset is an absolute panic. And it's a little bit different than crypto because the banks around the world, they do hold crypto. They are holding Bitcoin and things like that. Everybody's holding silver right now. Everybody's holding silver. And it's really, really interesting what's happening. I don't know what else to say. This is one for the ages. I think if I was taking a counter trend trade right now in this silver market, I like my entry point down further. We were doing the Fibonacci's, but I think that if you were going to work this 1 minute chart, something like this, I would put that sucker right there in that gap and bring this right down to be a real tight trade, something like that, just to try to make a few bucks. As far as I'm concerned, very, very risky trying this, but you can see the fight. The bidders are there after the halt. The bidders are there. Let's see if we rotate higher. 78, 78.42. I mean, this thing is dead. I mean, you're just looking for a dead cat bounce at this point. You know, do you get it right now at 1:30 Eastern? Maybe, maybe not. It's flat. All of a sudden, it's dead. Okay, what do we always learn? We talk about ranges. They're right there. You closed it. You gapped up, and you put in that range for a 1 minute range. We're trading inside of that range. Interesting. Okay, there's the dump. That's the market right there. That's going to come down and knock us out. Almost guarantee it. Almost guarantee it. Scratch it. You don't want any part of that. You don't want any part of that. This is way too delicate to the downside. Let's go ahead and take a look at our other level. We'll sit right there. We'll sit pretty at 74.81-ish, 85-ish. Maybe see somewhere right in there. Not that right there. I like that entry a heck of a lot better than playing a 1 minute chart. That's a macro level. Okay, let me see. Yeah, we'll take some questions here in a second. I'm getting mesmerized by a market absolutely fall apart. Can we take a look at the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen? Absolutely, yes, sir. I'll look at the dollar yen. Hurst Horns, I mostly stick to NAS trading these days. Some Bitcoin on the side. The community of traders, protect your neck. Absolutely, OG. Watch yourself, guys. Comments are so quiet around the world. Yeah, it's an absolute slaughterhouse. Nobody's saying much of anything right now. And there's your bounce. So maybe your 1 minute will cash in. Let me see. Bren 98. I've never seen anything like this before. I've got a buy. Let me see. I've got a buy in at 75, and I'm still worried I'll get ran. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Bren. Let's take a look at how our 1 minute would have done. It's not good enough. Believe me, it's not good enough. Something like that. In any case, get a nice rotation there. We'll see if we do get that. Okay, let's look at gold. Pretty much everybody's talking about gold and silver right now. This is a big one. Weekly chart, sort of spike low to your upper extreme that happened earlier this week, right around 55.87. And I mean, that is a lifetime ago. You're talking about an $800 sell-off here. Big pullback. You're beneath 62%, and you're going south. So for me, I'm looking at 45, 49, something like that. That could be a potential bidding area, 45, 50-ish. But once again, we are scalping against the trend. We're not even, you're not even thinking about taking a position until we see some confirmation that the worst of this is over. Euro USD plunging. You just cut that off, get out of that. I mean, right now we're seeing everything repriced across the board, except for stocks. It's sort of been hands off of stocks. That's interesting. Absolutely interesting. Okay, so let's go ahead. We had a request for the dollar yen. Let's get into some requests here. 4-hour chart, dollar yen ripping higher. What do we have? Interesting. Well, we had a fantastic play right there off of our downside support level right around 52. Let's go ahead and back that up. I mean, that was a banger of a trade. There it is. So there's sort of your weekly level. Let's go ahead and go back up to our monthly. Spike low, spike high, pull back right to 152. Absolutely nailed that trade. I mean, absolutely nailed it. So the question is what happens now? Nobody knows. Nobody knows right now. I mean, this is in a state of flux. Do you want to buy it or sell it? Japanese yen. I got in at 153.75 looking for a take profit in the 154 to 94, 155, 57 range. That's from Yes Sir. So you're looking 154.94. Yeah, I mean, there's really no reason why you won't get it. Lots of volatility in this market. Clearly, the bidders are winning. There's your daily 154.77, so I'd be a little bit careful there. But to be honest with you, Yes Sir, the pressure's on that level, 157.77. That, you know, you're gonna have to break that and go up to my 13-period EMA, which is at 155.50. Plenty of room right in here to get you paid. You just have to have a little bit of patience with that. 38% did step up and check you pretty hard, though. No question about that. Let's go ahead and take this down to a 4-hour chart and see exactly what we want to get accomplished here. So you're gonna want price to stay above 154 even. I mean, that's a nice big range on a 4-hour chart. You're still very much in bullish territory, so I really wouldn't panic just yet. I don't really see any conflicting signals developing. I think you're going to be in a nice position here potentially in the next few minutes. So the big thing to remember now on a day like today, we've got all of our technicals and we've got everything going for us. We've got everything laid out. We're looking at it. We're going, okay, what happens here? What happens here? What happens here? And all that's great. But remember that there are no rules when it comes to trading. The only rules are the ones you bring with you. The market has no rules. They were supposed to throw a circuit breaker repeatedly today for silver, and they did not do it. They threw it while we were on the air when you were down 30%. That's ridiculous. Anybody that tells me that that's prudent financial management or responsible financial management from an exchange, they just lost all the confidence of traders around the world. In my opinion, they did. That's unbelievable. Typically, when something moves down about 7%, I believe for the S&P 500, 7% or 9% and 11%, those are the circuit breakers. You shut trade down so you don't let a panic develop and wipe 30% of your market share off. So the real question around the world right now is what level are people going to feel good about buying these metals? Is it as easy as showing up on Monday's open and just bidding the market and seeing what happens? A lot of people are going to do that. Does the route continue Monday? It might. So be careful. A lot of you are going to show up on Monday and say, okay, I like gold where it is. I'm going to go ahead and buy it. Be careful. If you're long right now in this dollar yen, I mean, it is a little bit tricky, but you know, the dollar's moving higher today. You're probably going to be in pretty good shape here. Just remember that Fibonacci right up around 154.75 was a bit problematic. That one's got to get out of your way first. That's for sure. Let me see. Gold, absolutely Z. Gold, 47.50. Right there, 45.50. You say, Shane, that's not going to happen. It could happen this afternoon. Right now, 45.50-ish is definitely my downside support. You'll notice our 920 EMA crossover on the weekly. We've got a 9 EMA right there. As far as what's going on the intraday charts, 15-minute chart had a little bit of compression right around that long-term level at 47.70. Right now, maybe if you could get a close up above 47.80, somewhere in there, you could take a long, potentially late in the session. As far as I'm concerned, extremely high risk. All of it's extremely high risk trying to hold longs in this market. As far as gold goes with the Fibonacci's, I mean, you can see exactly what's happened here. It's been just a rout, an unbelievable rout. Let's take this down to a weekly. Okay, our weekly, we know where our levels are on the weekly. How about the daily? That's a staggering candle. That is a bankruptcy candle. That's a welfare line candle. That right there, we were talking earlier this month about people that are out on the window ledge. That's a window ledge candle. The gold brokers, the gold and the silver brokers around the world right now are in big, big trouble. This has been a serious squeeze. And basically everybody, I mean, it looks like everybody that bought gold above 4,000 is feeling the pain. Even if you bought it at 4,000, you went, holy cow, how much have we lost in just a few days? Huge move. Huge move. Is it even worth trying to find a bottom right now? Tricky. Very, very tricky. 78%'s gone. You're probably looking at 45 even. So if I'm doing it, there's no question about it. Right in that area, 45, 550, somewhere in that zone. That's probably your next port of call. The question is does it happen now? Does it happen right now? Let's get back over to silver, 34%. Once again, we didn't get filled. Didn't get filled. Second time down. You can see we were down there right there. Right here, let's see what we've got. Our 1 minute chart, we knew right there. You knew right in here once you didn't get that action. Boom, it's going to break against you, and that's exactly what happened. You are fighting a trend. Do not fight trends. There's a couple ways people lose money. 95% of people that lose all of their money in the markets do one of two things. They either use way too much leverage, the positions are way too big, or they try to fight trends. The only way we're going to take a bid in this market is if I can get in and get out and do it quickly. I've got a key level there. I'm going to watch this thing sit for probably 30 seconds, maybe a minute, minute and a half tops. Take profit once we get it. It's going to be right up in here. We're going to be looking for something right. We're going to be looking for a bounce right up in that zone. And if we don't get it, probably in the first minute or so, I'm gone. If you're going to counter trend scalp, this is probably one you should watch. They call it putting on your knife catching gloves. We're catching a knife. Knives are falling. We're trying to catch them. Put on your knife catching gloves because this can be ugly and it can get ugly fast. The big thing you want to do is sort of have a quick trigger on this one. What are we looking to buy here? Okay, right there, we're filled. We're watching closely. It's got to come back our way or we're getting out. We're looking for that quick, immediate rebound. Okay, right there, that's a pretty good kick. We need to see this bar close, 30 seconds. The pressure's on. We're going to be gone quick. We're giving this just another second, another 2 seconds, Okay, bang, I'm going to lock in right there, and we're going to shut it down. That's my maximum loss, 1-to-1, demo dollars. Don't get confused by that. Right there, that's going to be my max loss, and we're going to tighten it up here in a second. We're getting a bounce. You've got to get that bounce up above your key level or you're gone anyway. So here we go. Okay, there's your bounce right there. You're almost back up to break even right in that zone. The spread is absolutely huge. So you're sort of dealing with that as well, trying to overcome this. You need to see a move. You need to see the bulls step in, tighten that sucker up right there. Okay, we've limited our risk just a little bit. Right there is where I want it. Okay, right in there. You're going to get stopped out. You're trying to fight a trend. Right there, our key level isn't functioning very well. The bidders aren't there. I got a decision to make right now. Do I just get out? Do I just get out and cut it off, or do we try to let this ride and get paid a little bit? Now it's starting to break in our favor, but still, man, the pressure is so heavy. It is so heavy to the downside. Okay, right there, there's your kick. There's your kick right there. Do you get another leg up and pay us off? Very, very difficult. Once again, you're fighting just selling. Now we're getting compression right around that 75 level. Is this the bottom of the day or isn't it? You cannot afford to let this thing sit there. Odds are you're probably going to get stopped out. Okay, there's our bullish bounce. That's what we want. But you can't really bet on this thing to be sustained for the next several minutes. It has to go now. If it doesn't go now, we're going to get into trouble. Okay, there's the break. It's got to start going. I'm going to tighten up right here because I don't want to expose myself to the downside. If it gets me, it gets me. Okay, there's our break. Now we're starting to make a little bit of money here. Now we're up about 1,000. You're up about 1,000. If you want to stay in this market, you can. You could take the money. This right here, does it get any better than this? Is it going to trade higher? Okay, there's another gap higher, but are you really going to get paid off? We've assumed the risk. Is it going to move higher for us? That's the question you always have to be asking yourself in these trades. Is it going to move higher? Are you going to have a chance to win? We know that we're fighting a trend. It looks good now, but it can change in 2 seconds. We're fighting everybody in the world's selling right now and we're buying. What are we trying to prove? There's the move. We're very, very conservative with what we want to get done here. We've been in this thing for almost 2 minutes now. What do we want to do? Can we afford to? We took the risk. Are we comfortable giving the money back? Or are we going to stick this one out, ride it out, and see what happens? We're in a pretty good position right now, but that can change. What are you going to do? Are you going to hold it right now? What are you going to do? Boom, I'm going right up to break even. We're not risking anything else. No way I let that become a loser. We'll take a $500 profit here and be happy with it. We want it, of course, to move up and take the $2,000. But if you can get out of here with 500 and not take a loss, it's pretty good. Okay, right there, you saw it. That is market sentiment. That's what the truth is. We were at our take profit. We're pretty much going to get stopped out right now. There's no question that the volatility is there. The sellers are involved. Is this the bottom of the market for today? We've got a risk-free trade going right now. At the worst end, we're plus 500. At the best end, we're plus 2,000. The market is it's not filling us up. We need to make one more leg up. Man, this is hard work, guys. This is hard work. Trying to figure out, what do I do? That's why you have to have a plan. You have to know what you're going to do. The first thing we thought of, okay, we've got our entry point. The second thing we thought of was, okay, I've got my stop out point and we're going to tighten and we're going to do it fast. And if you do that, you're not going to run into trouble. Now, what's going on? Right? Okay, we finally got filled. All right, so it went up and hit our profit target. This right here was high risk. That's as high risk as trading gets. If you don't learn anything from these live streams, and I get 50 questions a day, not a day, but probably 50 people a week that want to be scalpers. I want to be a scalper. That's what it is. Okay, so right now, let's say the market moves and makes a leg up and goes back up to 80 or 82 or 85. Do I care? No, I don't care. We made our money. We did our trade. Another way to approach these things, wait for confirmation. Take a look at that. Key level, hammer. Look at that hammer. I love hammer formations. The hammer candle is my favorite. So a few things to think about there if you're interested in a life in the markets. I will sort of issue a preemptive apology. That's all we've covered really today, silver, in almost an hour of going. But, I mean, it's very, very rare that you get an opportunity to see a market truly crash, be halted, and then come back. I mean, you can learn more by watching the markets in these environments. You can learn more in just a day or two than you can by sitting in front of the screen for 5 years. There's people out there that have never seen anything like this, and they believe the markets just sort of show up and go okay every day. There are no rules. There are no rules. Remember that. That's for sure. Let me see. All right, I'm sweating and anxious just watching this scalp. We got it. We got it, T. That's all that matters. Let me see. Yes, sir. I would like to be a scalper, but I don't think I'm built for that. I stick to my 30-minute charts. I love the 30-minute chart. Yes, sir. I love it. I love the 30-minute chart. It's fantastic. Let me see. Sixth, y'all. I swear scalping will make you sound like a commentator. Well, I mean, they say you're not supposed to get emotional and cheer for your trades, but I do. I don't care. I've been doing this a long time. You got to take some enjoyment. That one could have got away from us, though. And you look at the market call. So, like, let's say we were trading for a big firm right now. Let's say everybody in this room, we're at our trading desks. We're all talking about silver. And I would have taken my position off somewhere right in here for the profit, right in here somewhere. And the boss would have came around as soon as this thing ticks higher. The boss would have came around to the desk, go, Vernier, why'd you take it off at 76? And I said, well, that was my trade. That's what I wanted to take out of it. And he said, you got to ride these trades out. You got to stay in there. There's more juice in this market. You got to stay in there and maximize your profits. And I'd say, well, I thought I made a pretty good trade. And then the company, they'd come back over the top of you and say, no, you didn't. You need to get more out of these markets. And that's the difference between trading for a firm and trading for yourself. If you're trading for yourself, you just took your profit and you walked away. You feel good about it. If you're trading for the firm shows up and says, well, everybody else made a fortune today. Why didn't you? Well, that's not really what I do. Okay, you're fired. So you do have a lot of advantages over trading for a big fund, a big trading house. You really do. You could take that money off right there and then just leave. You can do that. Let me see. Enzo, where's Forex Signals where I can be on all day? Like the old days, is there a site? No, Enzo. They shut Forex Signals down. No more Forex Signals. We still go live on Forex Signals TV on YouTube. I'd encourage you to head on over to Switch Markets on YouTube and check out our new content. Look at this market bouncing back to 80. Look how much money we left on the table. Pretty good at calling the bottoms, though, right? Maybe just wait for those hammers and then take a shot. Look at that. That's amazing. Amazing stuff. Let me see. Bryn, I'm in at 75 and holding on for dear life. Stop loss in, place little risk. Well, if you're still in there, Bryn, you just got a $5 move. Now silver's only down 30%. Unreal. Absolutely unreal. All right, guys, let's see. I've got a couple other things to cover. If there's any other markets you want to look at, go ahead and throw them in the live chat. I know I've ran off half of the room. Doesn't really like the live scalping, but pretty good stuff. Let's go back to our switch markets, our 9 EMA, and you'll see, look at what happened. Right here was your signal, right? Price creeps back up in between the RSI. Now, what would be a premium trade here? You creep above that 70, and then we get a sell signal. Absolutely. I would feel much, much more comfortable taking that trade. How about a 5-minute? So your 5-minute chart right here, this would be a 5-minute position. If you could close above that EMA, you'll notice that the silver market hasn't closed since right there, which was early during the overnight. A bullish close here above the 9 EMA would be a big deal. It really would be. Is at the bottom of the market, though. See, there's a couple of different ways to trade this action. We're not going to execute another trade, but you could take this down to a 30-minute chart. The first thing I'd do, I'd say, okay, where are we? What are we doing? Okay, 30-minute chart. What do you got? Spike high right there? There's your spike high. Mid-U.S. session, or do you want to go U.S. session? I would go right here. I would go U.S. session. And that's where everything lines up right there, right around 84. Pretty good trade right there to sell. You know, you've got sort of the prevailing trend, top side resistance right there. We did call the bottom. That weekly Fibonacci, I don't want to hear it from anybody that those don't work. Those are great. Executing the trade when you're down 30% is tough, though. Now look at the Euro USD bouncing back a little bit, 118.73. Things are starting to normalize a bit. Does silver gain back all this loss by the close? Who knows? Let me see. T Marina, check out Bitcoin. Yeah, we'll look at Bitcoin here. Tina, my buy limit on gold, 48.50 and 47.50, both got filled. Can I aim for 580? I can't tell you what to aim for, Tina. You gotta take exactly what you want out of these markets. You bought 48.50s and 47.50s, and you're looking for 5,000 again. So 47.50, that was a pretty good call down there. So your dollar cost averaged in. That's really a risky thing because you bought into a really stiff trend, and you're taking a position back to 80. I mean, I like it. That's how millionaires are made. Taking positions like that, it's just really risky, really risky. 5,000. I mean, theoretically, I probably would have my profit target in that type of a trade. I'd probably be looking for the money this side of 5,000 because there's probably going to be some sellers there at 5,000. Let's go ahead and pull up a daily. Let's go ahead and pull up a 30-minute on gold. Okay, so what do we have here? Really the same situation, right there. Opening bell ding on Wall Street, right? Right there. There's your spike high. Nice sell-off there. So you're looking at 40.80 or 50.80. It's going to be right up in here. So basically, you're looking for a buyback in the New York session. It's not a bad strategy. Just manage your risk. Don't let it get too far away from you just in case this trend comes down. I mean, right there, 48.46, probably going to run into some resistance all through here, but it doesn't mean that you can't get paid off. I think it's very possible. All right there is going to be your 5-minute signal. That's a big deal right there in silver. Do you think it's a good idea to buy it right now or maybe wait for a retracement? Definitely wait. Interesting stuff, though. So that's how that function works. I don't know that I would take that. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't. But, you know, who knows? Look, it's trending higher. We'll see. Wait and see how that performs as we roll later in. We'll revisit that one next week. Okay, so let's see. Bitcoin. Yeah, we talked about Bitcoin a little bit earlier. Let's go ahead and pull it up. Pull it up just on the Fibonacci's. We had a trade idea out, and it's just sort of stagnant right around that 83.5 level. Right around 83.5-ish. Sort of a tough area. I mean, this big picture, this was sort of our entry right up there, right around 85.5 and a quarter. So you're off what? I mean, about $2,000, something like that. Nice rebound off the low. If you wanted to hold that, maybe looking for that 88 target, I really wouldn't be prepared to leave the market just yet and chalk it up as a loss. I wouldn't be prepared to do that just because the trend, it's not really moving. I mean, I know you're off 1.5%, but for Bitcoin, that's nothing. It really is nothing. So when we watch something like this, we say, okay, what's likely to happen? Well, if you don't return to 85 soon, then we got to really start considering 75 as being a big deal. The next port of call here will be 75 if we break. One thing we didn't do, though, your low right there was 81,040. If you step back to your monthly, you'll notice that you sort of broke beneath December's low, but December's a holiday month. You traded both sides of it. This low right here is what you need to be watching, 85.37. And if that doesn't hold, then you're looking at April 2025's lows down there at 75. Looks to me like we may be ready to check out 75 in early February. And from there, I would anticipate some serious bidding. That's how I'd be looking at Bitcoin right now. That's for sure. But man, with a 30% move in silver, it's tough to look at anything but silver. 28%, gold off 10. Let me see, Tina Jing. I placed a while ago, and I never thought it would be filled. Well, I mean, you're long now. I'm not saying that it's wrong. I mean, you could have hit it just perfectly. It really is possible. All right, Ralph H. Great tip of that weekly Fibonacci retracement. I looked at a few Forex pairs. Yeah, there you go. The weekly Fibonacci's are my favorite. I like dailies. I like weeklies. Monthlies are great, but weeklies typically give you a chance across the Forex to identify at least 5 or 6 trades a week, usually, if you use majors and crosses. All right, everybody. Let's talk about a few other things. I was going to talk about PPI today, but we didn't. Something like this, week 4. Today was US PPI. You can see right there, PPI, 0.5%. What does that suggest? That suggests that inflation's still a very, very, very big problem, a very big problem. Something like that's going to be a big deal as we roll into the Fed pick. And you'll notice right here, PPI over the last year has just been on a freight train north. Now, you're not at all-time highs. I believe last December, 2025 December, was a little bit higher than it is now. I believe that's what it read anyways. But this right here was a pretty good trajectory in the producer price index throughout 2025. So inflation, not good news for those that are looking for big rate cuts like me, but still you may. Earlier today, Donald Trump decides to select his nominee for the Fed. Everything you need to know about Kevin Warsh, Trump's pick to lead the Federal Reserve. Kevin Warsh, President Donald Trump's pick, is the next Fed chair as a central bank veteran, serving during the critical period of 2006 to 11 that led up to TARP. So basically, he was at the Fed. He was on the Fed FOMC board during the great meltdown of 2008 to 2012. To me, that would instantly disqualify anybody from serving in the Fed. Janet Yellen was around then, I believe. Ben Bernanke is in the private sector now. But what happened in the great meltdown of 2008 when we had the Lehman Bank fail and all that stuff was they had a program called TARP. And essentially what TARP was it was too big to fail. The Federal Reserve pumped commercial banks full of cash and made sure that they stayed solvent through the breakdown. This guy was appointed by Bush, President George W. Bush, 2006 to 2011. This is a controversial pick in my move. Warsh emerged from the era as a Fed critic, so he doesn't really like the Fed a whole heck of a lot. He argued against the TARP program, so that's probably what Trump's looking at with this nomination, and believes that I have to think that he's a dove. So they're already talking about what he can do at the Fed with regards to influencing the other policymakers to vote for rate cuts. We're going to find out. And there you go. The credibility deficit lies with the incumbents that are in the Fed, in my view. That's what Warsh said. So we talked about credibility the other day when Jay Powell was speaking. I said, this guy is not credible. The Fed doesn't have any credibility. Warsh said it. The next Fed chair said it. Unbelievable. You're in for some real fireworks. We're in for some real fireworks later this year from the United States Federal Reserve. There's no doubt about it. Absolutely no doubt about it. As far as who is this guy? He's a prominent economist, former Fed governor, and Stanford fellow with an estimated net worth likely in the millions. They say he's right around 9 to 15 million. He had a big tech giant, so he's a tech guy. This guy's out of Silicon Valley, it looks like, and he's a significant holdings in tech giant Coupang and other public stocks. So they say he's worth about 15 million. It's probably 2 or 3 times that. Bankers are typically pretty good at hiding their money, and he's going to be probably the biggest banker in the world. So we're going to be watching him closely. The fact that he owns that big of a stake publicly in one of these companies means he's going to favor economic growth probably over more, I'd say, fiscally responsible things. He's going to be a rate cut guy that wants to pump the markets. I don't see any way around that. We'll see how it unfolds. A couple of other things that we need to look at here. U.S.-Iran strikes. This was going to be the crux of today's live stream until we saw the action in silver. You can see that we've got about a 50% chance. About a 27% chance of the strikes, 18 plus 15, so about 33, that we get a U.S. strike on Iran this weekend. So I'm watching that closely. That explains why U.S. oil's way up. As far as the metals collapsing, this probably wouldn't have much to do with that. But the other index that we wrote a piece on yesterday was the Pentagon Pizza Index, something like this. Breaking, all sorts of stuff, Domino's Pizza, all these pizza places around the Pentagon. Typically, when this pizza index goes up, it means that all the folks in the Pentagon are ordering out because they've been sequestered, planning offensives or managing ongoing strikes in a war type environment. So essentially, when the Pentagon Pizza Index is way up, you see the chance for war increase, and this was the case last June before the Iranians' airstrikes on Iran were conducted. So actually, the Pentagon Pizza Index is a thing, and people watch it. It's all over X. I've been watching it lately. It's interesting. You can see, okay, so what happened right there? Domino's, right by the Pentagon, just had a big spike, so they're much busier than usual, quieter than normal. Extreme Pizza, District Palace. How about Papa John's? What's Papa John's doing? Papa John's is quiet. So you can see it's not an exact science, but a lot of people are having fun with this. One last thing that we do need to check on. I saw a headline breaking just a second ago. There's the headline. Silver drops 30%, gold tumbles 10% as Trump Warsh pick eases Fed independence fear, triggers the dollar rally. So they're thinking that Warsh is going to be a bit of a hawk. That ain't going to happen. I'm sticking by my guns. I think you're going to see rate cuts. I don't see the Trump administration promoting anybody that's going to raise interest rates. Okay, just a quick look around the market here. Theoretically, we could have caught some major action right there if we'd have held, but that's okay. We got in and out. Nice big move, though, back up to 84-ish. This is sort of the area where I think we could top out on this rally, at least for this 30-minute bar. Big-time stuff happening right there at 85, though. Big-time stuff. As far as gold goes, gold is ripping. So, Tina, to answer your question, you're looking for 5,080 somewhere up in here. You're well on your way. You broke 38% of that New York range. This zone right in here, right around 49 and a quarter and 49 could be problematic, but don't be surprised if you get a nice rally out of this. It looks like the worst is over with only a few hours left in the trading day. Truly amazing action. And here's our switch markets 9 EMA strategy pick. Look at that. Performing well. Is the bottom end for silver? Boy, I don't know. That really is anybody's guess. All right, I want to thank you for joining me today. Sort of a disjointed live stream. I hope you enjoyed it. We did a little live scalping, and it's just not very often that we get a chance to watch a market truly crash and unwind in front of our eyes. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. As far as next week goes, I'll have the stream schedule up in the How to Trade trading room here momentarily. We're going to have that gold and silver, how to trade gold, silver, and copper on Tuesday. That's going to be an interesting. Live stream. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So be sure to join us there over at Switch Markets or in the How to Trade trading room. As far as the rest of next week, it's the first Friday of the month. So you know what that means. It's going to be NFP time. So we're going to take a look at NFP. We're probably going to have some CPI predictions coming around as well. Next week, next Monday, marks the first trading day of the new month, February. So be sure to get dialed in and get ready to go. I think we're going to have a lot of fun trading in February. This is one of my favorite months is February. January was pretty good to us, not bad at all. February, pretty good to us, not bad at all. So we're going to go ahead and see what happens here in the next several weeks. All right, everybody. Team Marina, that was fun but stressful. Yeah, I mean, that's trading. That's scalping anyways. That's scalping. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and sign off for today. We've gone on long enough. Next week's going to be a lot of fun, though, so come on back. Remember, if you have any questions at all, be sure to contact me over at How to Trade. Send me a private message. I will get back to you. That's it for now. Have a fantastic trading day. Don't push it. If it's not there, don't force it. That's all I got to say. Have a great trading day. Have a great weekend. And as always, trade the action well, and we'll talk soon. See you.